it's Nancy Lynn from Sew Euphoria. I'm here with this big box. This is the hashtag Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. This is the one I did the prompt, the beach prompt, and everything's in this one little box. I am going to try and get the cover done. I've gotten the covers basically done on the green and the red set that I'm doing. Today I'm working on the blue. Seems like a lot of you guys like the little beach one. So I'm going to open up this box. And this has all kinds of things in there. The rope that I'm using to go around the pages. This was some that I had bought that I didn't choose, but you might see it on the cover. This is some curtains that I bought, and they are starfish all over them. They have beads that I've used on a couple of things that we're going to use on the cover. And then of course we have our journal itself. And then in here are all different kinds of, these are hand-dyed fabrics. There are some little trims. Here is some ribbons that I have not yet used to this point. There's all kinds of things in here. This I bought from the Not a Dollar Tree. And I hadn't used it. We'll see. I'll put it out here because we might use some of that. These were some buttons I had put aside. They're just kind of an off green, and I thought maybe some buttons somewhere will go on something. I hadn't used buttons in any of this. I had bought this. It's acrylic bead mix. I'm hoping I'm in the camera. And this one's got some starfish and stuff in here. So I don't know, not for the cover, but I'm going to go back through some of the pages also. But there's all kinds of goodies in here. Now I'm going to take this off the table so I can pull from it. And we're going to bring over our book. And this is the way, and it has the tags inside, and all the tags have what we did for the prompts and all the rest of that in there. I think I still need to make a few more tags for this book. This book has not even been sewn together yet, so that's one of the things I'm going to be doing today, is taking these and putting these in there before we cover them. So there's a lot of stuff. So if it's something that's going to take me quite a while to do, I'll probably pop out and come back in, but that is my plan for today, is to get this. I'm hoping to get it, I'll say 80% done. And so we have these I have not. I'll tell you what, guys, I know I thought I was Superwoman and I could handle the 3. Yeah, it has been my total life. These I have not put any type of fastener on to even fasten them in yet, so snaps have to go on these yet. But these pages, this one is just so bright to me. I'm gonna have to do something to kind of tone it back a little bit. And this one I still need to do more, put waves in here, something in here, maybe some beads, I don't know, something's got to go on here. This one too, I got the basic premise of it down, but it still needs, I don't know if it's words or it needs something in there. You know, and this is for Christmas, but it's Christmas, but it's not Christmas. That's what my sister-in-law, she loves. She loves the beachy style, the boho beachy style. And so that's what this is all about, is to fit her. But I'm trying to decide where to get started. The pages, I can put all the snaps on and I can get that off any other time. Now these, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stuck for this page. And 1, 2, 3, and I'm probably going to do one more to put in here. 1, 2, 3 to finish that back page off. So I'm going to need 2 signatures. So I'm going to move these out of the way. That's just and this is for the cover. I stitched Christmas Journal of Stitchery, and that is going to be on the cover. I'm moving all this stuff out so that I just have this to work with. I'm gonna grab my handy dandy ruler and my Sharpie pen, and these are, what's my thing? It's like 2.5 inches. And honestly, if I did another one of these with a 6-month thing, I would do it 3. Because they're chunky. I'll show you the other ones later, but they are chunky. And so all I need to do is put 2 signatures in here. So it's 2.5. I'm going to have to bring it down, and I hope I'm still in. So it goes from there to there. And I'm just going to kind of put it at 1 and at 2, even though it's not quite 3. Let's put it at 1 7/4. All right, got to come down and do the same thing. And a little bit of 2. And now I'm going to come down to the pocket and do 1 and a little bit before 2. And that's going to bring it that'll be off. I'll have a little bit there. I'll have some up here. And that should tie that in pretty well. Now, for those of you that are not bookmakers, now that I've got my lines punched, this is a crocodile. I love this tool for making, when you're making books and stuff. It's goes through a lot of thicknesses of material. And it has where you can poke it at different depths. But this here makes it so that if I need to punch those 2 center holes from one direction or the other, I can reach it all the way through. So, but, I mean, if you don't make a lot of books, then I would not suggest getting it. But if you do, I would say definitely. Now, I have put 2 marks on here to mark where the pin comes down, because once I have it here, I can't see it, so I do like having those there so I have something to line them up with. Now all I'm going to do is take it, and I'll lay it down flat so maybe you can see it. I can line these 2 marks right up to where I can see them. And so what I'm going to do is find my little black mark. I know I'm lined up this way. I can pull this down a little bit to see if I'm right in the center and just push. And it gives me a very nice, clean. And now we can switch it around for the other side. And like I said, but with it, that's a mark I wish that they put on there, but they don't. But it's real easy. I just used a permanent marker and put those marks on there. So if you do have one, mark it. It helps a lot. Okay, we've got 2 more of these to do. All right, so now I'm going to put this aside, and you can see it's got all the holes in there for me to be able to run whatever type of thread, and I'm putting this in that box down there, and then those are the little pieces. I've seen some people save those little pieces and do stuff with them. We're not doing that. All right. Now the next thing I need, hope I am going to need that book back. And this is why it's kind of good that I have not put these in here yet. See, I still have a lot of sewing and stuff to do. So this will be my project to get done. All right, and so this one is there. Now this one I could do 3, but I'm not going to do all those ones. I still have a lot to do with this book, actually. You know, on these first pages I have the tabs, but they're not sewn down. I haven't done anything to strengthen my edges all the way around. So there is a lot of work to be done. This one, you know, I'd get them done, but I wasn't working on the whole thing of it. So there's that. Now what I have to do is take this book. This is going to line up with my first hole, so I'm going to figure out where my holes are. Make sure it's at a place that I like. And it's folded in half because that's where the holes are going to go. And now if I can find my, there it is, my Sharpie. That's the thing, we get so much stuff around us and it makes it awful to find stuff. And here is the last hole. Doesn't even look like I marked that one. Alright, so that one's done. Now we're going to do the same thing with the back page. It does not have any, it is just raw fabric at this point. And it probably would be easier if I sorry, I'm measuring. If I finished the edges and did that before, and that might be, I might cut off this and I might, while it's in this state and I can still play with it, and before I put it in and strengthen up the edges, I might just use, ooh, slow stitching thing. I might use my sewing machine to go around all the edges and strengthen them up. I might find some lace around there. I might cut some strips. Let's see how that one might work. Just because I just think it would be a little stronger. And I hand sewed them on the other one, but I'm not gonna be able to get all this done and hand sew this on there today. So the next time we come back, I will have the trim all the way around. I will have not this, I'll do the snaps tonight while I'm sitting down watching TV or the computer. I usually always watch YouTube. I'm such a YouTuber. But that will be the next part. All right, I'll be back in a few. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Nancy Lynn again. Since I've seen you last in the first part of the video, I had told you I was going in to sew some and strengthen up the pages. Haven't done anything on there. Like I said, I'm trying to do this step by step and do quick videos here and there to include all this for you guys. Now what I have done, make sure I'm centerized, and what I'm doing now is checking, because it's easy to flip things, and I already know there's an error, so I know I have to fix it. So I need to get out my Sharpie. And so the pages are put together, and what I did with the pages is I just used that lace like I had talked about doing, and then I used this roll ribbon that I had gotten from the, you know, the store, the cheap store. And so I use that all the way around, and so it does give it more strength, so it's not so flappable. Now this one still does need to have some tabs put in there, but this one doesn't have as much. So, and these are the ends that are coming out. Now I've looked at these and I'm thinking I really wanted them a little bit longer, so I may be pulling these out. But what I'm doing right now, get on track, Nancy. You know, you find out so much. This is the next day. It's not the same day. This is the next day. It took me all day to sew on the snaps, the sew-on snaps on here. And I was talking to my sister-in-law, hey Joe, and I was sewing the snaps on while I was talking with her, and we were just having a great conversation. And I'd look and I'd be, uh-oh, and I would have inverted the snap and sewed it on there wrong. So I think I did 6, and of the 6, 5 of them I had to redo again. So yeah, focus, focus, focus. All right, so now what we're looking at here now, the next thing before I do this is I'm looking at my holes that I punched, and I'm making sure when I punch the holes in this fabric that they're matching up. Now on this one, I can see that my black little spots they're not going to be seen because they're going to be tied into here. That does match up. Okay, so we know this one is good to go. This one I put on here. And let me get it so you can see the little marks. And this top one matches well. This bottom one matches okay. But look where, I don't know if you guys can see it. Look how far apart these two holes are. So if I had poked a hole in here, it'd been another hole in the fabric, and it would not have matched up, and I'd had to come back and done a second one. So what do they say? Measure twice, cut once? Yeah. And like I said, I'm not worried about this black spot here because it's going to be where it's all hooked together, so it's not going to show. So yeah, double check if you've gone off and worked on your pages and bring them back, because it doesn't take much to invert them when you're sewing them. And I had a feeling I had done it, but yeah, and this one's got little seahorses all the way around it, and I have to sew on these little tabs, but I've got to make a few more. So I'm going to make a master board of these fabrics so that I can put those in there. But those are easy enough to sew in afterwards. What I was worried about is all these snaps. Okay, so we're all sewed together. We've got all our pages here. Everything's looking nice and neatly. We're going to have the 2 separate signatures. And so now I can get rid of this book for right now because I don't need it. Bring back in my wonderful, wonderful crocodile. And I'm going to turn it so I can see it on this side, but I'm making sure I'm not going to cut anything else. That side? Yeah, it's this side. And I'm just making sure we're all, you know, it's only 1 page, so I don't have to worry about lining all the pages up and all the rest of that. I'm just putting it in the one thing. Now, what I do need to figure out, nope, there's 2 of them. Nancy. This one's got to go. That's what's throwing me off. So now we've got our one page that we're doing here, and I can see there's nothing else around here. I'm going to turn it this way because I can see it better this way. I can see my little dot. I'm going to put it underneath. I'm going to line it. Now with this fabric like this, if you've got some bulk to it like the board does, because it's chipboard and glue and it's got some things to it, but make sure you stretch your fabric and make sure that you're right on the mark, because you're not even going to see it afterwards if you hit it just right. But I've got it pulled around this lower bar and it does much better. If you don't do that, the fabric's going to give a little bit. So try to work that. Okay. Now I know the one we needed was the top one. I should have made it X. But we're going to do the same thing. Line it up. Test it out first to make sure it's right on that mark. Pull it tight and put the hole in it. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Make sure everything is out of the way. And this is right there. I just want to make sure nothing else is in my way. And now this is going to be right on the ribbon, and that I'm going to bring it down just a little. Holding it nice and taut. So now I have my holes. So this one is ready to go in. Now we're going to put the holes in the second one. I'm going to open it up. Make sure our area is clear. Bring it around this way. And the only reason I do it this way is because I can see those lines and it's so much easier to line it up. This one is up high too, so I'm going to bring it on just a smidge. I don't know if because it got that ribbon. There we go. I think I have the page underneath it. No holes, good. Now this one was correct, so there's no correction. The pages are all out from underneath it. I've got a nice marked spot, so I know right where to go. Line it up, pull it taut. Reverse it around. Like I said, this is, you don't have to sit there with scissors and do all the, like I do a lot of journaling, junk journaling and bookmaking and stuff, and so I will get my use out of this. So you can do it with like an awl or whatever else you want to use, but good investment. Got it with a coupon, great investment. Alright, so now we've got these. Now we can bring our book back. And you know, this one is going here in the back. This one is going this way. I'm going to tuck these little edges. For those of you maybe who have not watched me before, this is going to be like a banner or a bunting, I think they call it overseas. Or a pennant. I've heard people call it a pennant too, but that's what this is going to be for, is for that purpose. Now I'm going to use, I had it right here for me. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this brown and white because it kind of goes with a lot of it. So this is what I'm going to use for my cord. This is Maker's Holiday Baker's Twine. I think I got this. This was one, I think I did pay for it at, pay regular price for it at Hobby Lobby. I think that's where that comes from. Now, I'm going to move, we'll do the back one first. We're going to count, pull out our thread and go 1, 2, and a half, but I'm going to give it a little more. I just like security of knowing. And what I don't use, I can always throw in my little specialty box. Now in here, I need, oh, it's always in here. There it is. This is the one I use. It fits through my holes nicely. I might have a little tug on it, but love the hole. It's got a great big hole. And so all I'm going to do is thread it. So I have my needle ready. See how nice that was to thread? I'm going to put that aside for a minute. I'm going to open this up. And you kind of line up your holes so that you're kind of where you want to be. Now I want my strings inside, so I'm going to start with this middle one, and it hit right at that middle hole. And I'm going to bring that through. Now, one of the things to look for is to make sure you're staying on track. It's very easy to come over this way and sew it, so just watch your line there. Now we're going to come up this way. Now this way you can poke it through the big hole, the hard hole, and then kind of find your hole. So we come down to the bottom. I'm leaving my little string so I can tie it up later. Now I'm coming through this one, and then I'm going to find my hole. Pull it all the way through, and now I'm going to come back through the middle hole on the opposite side of my string. So I have one string on one side, and I have other videos in my playlist and stuff that have how to do this bookmaking and stuff. So alright, so we want to make sure we've got it there. I've got both ends. Now I'm going to pull them till I get kind of equal. Now I just want to make sure everything's lying kind of flat. I don't get no surprises. Alright, so I got this. Now what I'm going to do is pull them, and I'm going, it's pulling two different ways, so it is tightening it. I'm going to wrap this around and pinch it. Before I do, I'm going to look on this side to make sure that my line is straight. There's no kinks in that line. And then I can pull it taut. Now, I go one time to the right, one time to the left. And you've got this. Now on this you could put, and I probably will put some little dangles on it. That might be our next thing. Alright, so now we have that in there. Now that's not going anywhere. Now we're bringing in our next set of pages. Let's get things kind of straightened up. Alright, now we're going to line up our lines where our holes are. Down here at the bottom, and if the top and bottom one match, then we should be pretty close on the middle one. We're going to get us another string. And this is baker's twine. Alright, we're going to come in from this way through the hole. Oh, did I punch that? Okay, here we go. I did punch the wrong hole. That's why I should have put an X on it. See, we've got this one down here. See where this one's at? Now I can do one of two things. I can repoke a hole in here, which the spine is going to be covered, so I might do that because the spine is stronger than this is, but this is the hole I should have punched right there. But I think this one is more centralized. So what I'm going to do is that's lined up. That's lined up. I'm going to use my, and I've got that little needle coming through so I can know exactly where that is. See, and this will also help hold that pocket down. So I do want it to be there rather than up here. Now, let's pull our thing out again. And I'm going to switch it so I can see it. And my thing is right, and is it going to make it? Yep. See what I mean about that reach? This will go back a little bit further. So and you can measure also, like if you want it 6 inches, you can measure the 6 inches. So it puts you right there. Yeah, that's better. Nope, wrong side. Alright, so I have this. Let's bring these pages back over. Now let's start all over again. Middle hole, middle hole. All right, now we're coming through this hole. And this hole. Straightening it out. These two I tied, so it's kind of crunching this up a little bit. And I need to make sure I come under the stuff so it doesn't get all tangled. I'm coming through this one. See, I got that little bit. That's why I give myself a little bit of extra. I know they say 2.5, and so you can not even cut it at all. Your thread, you know, if you're a minimalist and you want to use the least amount, but my feeling is it goes in my scrap pile and it will be used somehow. Alright, so I've got that. I've got one on each side. I'm going to straighten this out as much as it can be straightened out. I'm going to tighten it. Loop my loop, but before I want to check and make sure everything's nice and taut. My finger on it and tighten it. And go the opposite way and tie it. And so now we have a book that is nice and taut, so that when we do flip the pages, they're nice. They're going to lay out just where we need them to be. Oh, this one's being contrary. And let's see, we got that too. And see, they're in there, and there's plenty of room in here. There's actually now a little secret pocket right in there. And we've got these. And they're all going to hold in there. I don't have to worry about them coming out anymore. But I'm glad I waited till I had them at this point. because trying to work with everything together and not being able to have it out and stitch on it would have been tough. So now this is a good size for this journal. It's a, I think it's 2.5, might be a 3. Let me see what it is. Yeah, it's, this one's just about 3. So, and that, see, if I had gotten a couple more in there, that would have been a good size. So now what we're going to do is go on to decorating. And each one I've put a lace over here. Just, it doesn't not let you see those, but it just kind of camouflages them a little bit. And this one I'm going to use this lace. This is some from a set of curtains that I had gotten. And when I seen it, I knew, because I love to do beach stuff for my sister-in-law. And I thought, oh, I'll find some good uses out of that. But I got to make sure that I don't come over too far so that I can put this one. Actually, doesn't matter. I'm going to put, that is my piece that I'm going to put here, and then we're going to decorate around it afterwards. So I'm looking at this, coming over to here, and I'm Gesta cutting. But at the same time, I'm kind of fussy cutting. Because it's going to be kind of shabby looking, but I don't want it. Okay, now we can get rid of this piece. This end I'm not worried about because it's too big. I can fussy cut around it. Alright, so now I'm going to go around. Let's move our book for a minute. And these edges, you know, this is shabby chic, so, but I don't want them looking sloppy. I do want them to have a little here. A lot of planes go over. Yesterday they had the Blue Angels flying over the beach, and there's always, that whole weekend, there's always a lot of planes flying that weekend. So, and I live about 2 miles away from the airport, so we hear them when they come overhead. And when, I don't know if you guys have ever been to see the Blue Angels. It's a great show. We used to go to it a lot as a kid growing up, and all right, so that's kind of how it's going to look on that side. Now, the glue, it's going to show through this. I'm going to have to be careful to kind of go right behind. Let's see, where do I want to stop it and end it? And I want to flip over and check and make sure that I didn't cheat myself on the other side. Let's come this way just a little. Alright, we're going to start on the front side. Let's double check and make sure that's the front. That is the front. Alright, so let's see how this is gonna. Alright, and that's all gonna fit on there, so I think, and I can trim up the edges. Out. I'm not sure at where we're at on time, so if it does, I will just add another clip onto the end. See, I can hear it. It makes noise. It's got air going through it. Oh, I'm not fooling with it. Okay, so now we're going to the big boy, which will make a whole lot more of a mess. Give it a minute to. All right, here we are. And I'm going around it cut off right as I just started gluing this thing. But I felt like it was getting close to that time. And I'm gonna have to play with this to get it on because right there. Yeah, so there's one. I'm doing them one at a time, just so that let's see if I can do this one too. Maybe I can get two. Now with this tip I can't be out, so I'm kind of doing it more towards the center. I want to make sure I make it tight enough, but I don't want to make it too tight that it's gonna not let. It's coming through a little. I'm not getting a whole lot on my hands. Now that blob might. And I'm checking it with this top one because I want to make sure that fits. And that it's stretched out nicely. Well, so far that's doing okay. On this edge, I'm thinking a couple of things. I might use some cheesecloth and kind of make it like a wave coming in, or I might use it with some lace, but something else is going there. I just don't know what. Now this one I'm gonna do more of them because I've got that first line started. But they have the option of leaving, you know, everything in there and just using it like a book. I'm going to go back and trim that up. All right, now we're going to do the next row, which is front. I don't want to put that on this yet because it's still a little sticky. But I think that's going to hold that on there fine. Let's see, I got a little glue on here. Hold on guys, let me see if I can find a wet wipe. Wet wipes. And see, this stuff just, it's hard. It doesn't want to scrub off after you get it on there. And I can tell I got some on there. But this has got paint, it's got glue. Some of that glue's coming off. I know, what you wanted to see was me clean my mat. But I wanted to make sure I got that off there. Okay, so now what I'm thinking about, and let's go to my big box of fabrics. See, I had some of this blue that I could do. Now this is some cheesecloth in blue. I have cheesecloth and some pink that would bring some of that pink in, even though it would kind of not look like water. And then I have laces that I hand dyed. Now I'm gonna go with purple. There's some lace that I maybe could use. And there's, I don't know. I'm pulling out things that I think we maybe could incorporate. And I know I'm pulling this out because I know I want some bling on the top surface. There's some more lace. See if we've got anything else in here. Nope. So let's get rid of that box. thinking I could cut this piece. I'll show you. I'm going to get the full length. I'm going to cut it here. Big piece goes in the big box. This cheesecloth is not wanting to cooperate, so I'm going to have to cut it. And we're making it kind of thin so that I just have a thin piece to work with. I would much rather had a torn edge, but it didn't want to tear right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up in my hands because I want it to get that rough looking edge. And then I'm just going to keep pulling on it just to get it a little out of, so it'll stretch. These threads come apart very easily with this cheesecloth. So I can just stretch it different ways. Hubby's in the kitchen. Merlin just came in. Hubby's going to bed. Say hello, Johnny.
Hey.
All the people out in YouTube world. So now, and the only reason I'm doing this is I don't want this happening all the time. So I'm going to come in here and then I can roll it some more just to give it that break. And we're going to use some more. And I'm kind of working it through as I go around because I want it to attach this edge. I know there's a lot more. And there's a piece of it. See, now this is a lot more ratty looking, so I like that. See, that's what I get for being a smarty pants and not. You forget when you're making these videos, it's like, okay, did I check this? Did I check this? And you forget. I'll tell you what, as you get older, Makes it harder mentally. I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, when I was younger, I could chew bubble gum, I could dance and sing, twirl a baton, and do all this stuff at the same time. Now it's like, okay, one step in front of the other so you don't fall. I'm like, I'm too young to be this old yet. But my eyes don't help. I have to kind of really concentrate on where I'm walking to. Alright, now we're going to put this on, and if it twirls, it twirls. Okay, and let's cut this. So now we have that on there. Now our next piece that's going to go on is this. And so I want to see about midway. Now you know our stitchery does shrink up. So what I have found is when I glue it, I play with it for quite a while. I'm going to stretch this out to make sure that it's